Hi again, everybody. Bill Phillips here, along with the Nacho Man, Don Sloan. It is the Monday after the Super Bowl. It is the 9-minute Phill-Up, and we have to thank
everybody.
Valley Converting for sponsoring the 9-minute Phill-Up. We greatly appreciate everything they do. If you have recycling projects that include paper projects, head to Toronto, Ohio. They will take care of you. Mike Biasi and the crew in the Gem City, T-Town. They will take care of you. And Don, speaking of taking care of, Philadelphia Eagles took care of any hopes of a three-peat by the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59. It was a night of domination in the Big Easy.
Not what anyone really expected.
I don't think so.
Literally, you and I expected to be here the day after the Super Bowl, and in all fairness, gloating about our Super Bowl picks being correct, being right on the money.
Didn't happen.
But they weren't.
No, not even close.
Someone's texted me who actually was pretty close to the money, and we know who that is.
Yeah, Scott Campbell from M&M Hardware. He was in our Locks of the Week on News 9 Sports on the Go, and he was really close to me. Now, we both, believe it or not, without comparing notes or anything, Don and I both picked the Chiefs, and we both picked the same score, 27-24. Scott, what was it, 38-24?
38-26 was what Scott Campbell predicted. And our Thursday night show, we have the M&M Hardware Locks of the Week with Scott Campbell. And he has just ripped through the play. I mean, he's beats us every week. And we're like, Super Bowl, we're going to get you. But no. And he had some backdoor
points
cover, for lack of a better term. Some backdoor points made his pick even look bigger and better. But
because it wasn't as close as 40-22. It was like could have been a 60-0 game.
If you sat there and said, "I'm going to be bored with the Super Bowl because it's going to be a
by
blowout,"
halftime,
you'd have thought the Chiefs.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you, the Eagles' defensive front was relentless.
Yep.
I thought that the wide receivers, despite that ridiculous penalty on that fourth down play on the first drive, the Eagles' wide receivers stood out. And boy, did Jalen Hurts show something. Strong passing, but some of those runs that he made, and all the talk was Barkley for the Eagles to win. Barkley's got to run for 150 yards. Barkley was pretty much a non-factor, really.
Yeah, he did a good job catching balls out of the backfield. He was right around, I don't know what the final total was. He was at about 87 yards when I went to bed. I went third quarter, so I'm going to bed. I'm not going to stay up for this. So he had about 100 yards from the line of scrimmage. So he did his job, and that was just enough to keep. And the Chiefs did a good job of keeping him under wraps, but they couldn't keep him under wraps and everybody else. And then, like you said, if the Eagles can rush with just 4, that means everybody else is in coverage. So when Mahomes did have time, he had no one to throw to because the Eagles just locked everyone down. It was a tremendous. You win at any level of football with the guys up front. And the guys up front for Philadelphia dominated the offensive and defensive lines. It was a game of domination, which, like you said, by halftime, I was kind of okay. My dad was excited because he wanted the Eagles to win. And I said, yeah, but Dad, it wasn't really that exciting a game. Now, it was exciting if you're an Eagles fan, the interception, all that stuff. But as a general football fan, I'd like to see a 27-24, a 31-28 game where it goes back and forth. It was like, I still want my team to win, but the game is entertaining, and it wasn't entertaining because there's such a domination by the Eagles.
Did you see there were a couple things on social media, for whatever that means, that Mahomes hit his head in the early going and might not have been at 100%?
I don't know about that. I don't remember
there was
seeing
a tackle early going back deep at their own end where he did. His head took a heck of a hit to the ground.
He could have taken 5 hits to the head or no hits to the head. He didn't have any time.
But those two interceptions, the one Cooper DeJean ran back was huge.
Yeah.
And then the other one,
what a great catch.
You still have a fighting chance because you're 24-0. Yeah. You score
and you get the ball back
at the end of the half, and then get the. I told my buddy Ian, I was watching the game with. I'm like, they're going to go down here and score, make it 24-7, score opening drive in the second half. or it was maybe 27 at that point, and all of a sudden we're going to have a football game, and they didn't do it because that another bad interception.
Yeah, and
that's what was odd for Mahomes. You don't see that very often.
But that was the one, if you recall, Don Sweat, who was out. He could have been the MVP.
Yeah,
he really could have been the MVP. He comes off the corner and he takes the All-Pro guard that was playing tackle because Kansas City's line was so beat up. He took him and just shoved him into Mahomes. So if Mahomes is going to throw the ball, he gets hit. So now the ball doesn't come out where he's thinking it's going to come out. And then credit the Eagles linebacker, can't think of his name off the top of my head, makes a diving interception. And it's, it's a bad interception. But that's when I looked at that, I went, well, that's just how the night's going to go.
Well, that was a heck of an interception.
Oh, it was a great interception. But that was the game in a nutshell, because Kansas City's offensive line could not do a thing with that defensive rush with just 4 guys. They didn't blitz. They were like, we're just going to rush these 4. And if you can't stop, we're not going to rush anybody else. We'll cover everybody. And they did.
And it kind of shows too.
It's hard to win.
We all get in our bubbles.
Yep.
Like it or not, we're in an AFC bubble here because people follow the Steelers and the Browns and so forth. But everyone compare, like the Christmas Day game, comparing the Steelers to the Chiefs. Okay, that's where we need to be. No, Steelers don't need to be there. They need to be above that. And it sure makes you look at the NFL draft and saying, maybe we need to be drafting a couple, standout defensive tackles because they were the difference makers.
Absolutely. And the Steelers, if you're looking at it specifically from a Steelers point of view or a Browns point of view, the Steelers, they have studs, all pros, up and down their defensive lineup, but it's only one on the defensive line, Cam Hayward. Then the linebackers, you get T.J. Watt. Not taking anything away from Alex Highsmith. He's a good player, but he's not T.J. Watt. So then you go from the linebackers into the secondary. You got Fitzpatrick and, Porter. He's not necessarily a, lockdown guy yet. So they have one. You go across that Eagles defensive line, mercy.
And they were all legit pass rush threats.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't okay, it's just Watt. Yeah. If Watt doesn't get him, nobody will. It was legit across the whole front.
Absolutely. Now, my mom and my Aunt Connie, who we mentioned quite a bit on Lyman Phil, love you guys. They got it right. They went, my Aunt Connie.
Aunt, if you're from, other areas.
I have to call her Aunt Connie because she wouldn't recognize it. We called her Aunt Connie.
Aunt.
So.
Okay.
It's an East Coast
not
thing.
To climb up and go down in the ant hills or anything.
So anyways, she picked.
You ever get stuck in those ants that burn like in the summer and sand?
Yeah.
And then the ants,
the fire ants.
Oh my word!
I stood on top of one. I was getting groceries out of the back of a car. I was down in Florida visiting a friend of mine, and I'm getting these groceries out, and all of a sudden, my legs were on fire. I was like, "What is going?" I looked down. There's fire. There was a pool in the backyard. So I ran, jumped in the pool, and I was trying to wash my. It was unbelievable the amount of pain.
Who had the home run call? It was about open the window, Aunt Millie. There's a home run coming.
Oh, Red Barber, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Or no, that might have been. Yeah, it might have been Red Barber. It might have been who was the Ernie Harwell?
Because
Ernie Harwell, who was the Tigers. He was the Tigers play-by-play guy, legendary guy.
And I could be wrong, but it maybe take more. Somebody connected with Post 33 at one point there was Aunt Millie. There was an actual Aunt Millie, and I said that a couple of times in the highlights, and that made her day. So open the window, Aunt Millie.
But she picked.
How did we get stuck in this ant trap?
Because I was talking about my Aunt Connie who picked Jalen Hurts and the Eagles because she was a teacher. And he has a foundation that was actually helping get air conditioning units and everything put into Philadelphia school shoes. Okay. He's doing really good work. I'm going to root for the Eagles. And I went, all right, Aunt Connie. So, whatever it takes, you root for whoever you want to root for. And she was right, though. If she'd gone to Vegas and said, Jalen Hurts, MVP, there you go.
No three-peat. I love it.
No three-peat. I'll tell you what, it's hard enough, as Bill Cowher would always say, it's hard to win a football game in the National Football League. Just a preseason game in the National Football League. You get to the Super Bowl and you've got a shot to win 3 in a row. I mean, people are no one's really bashing the Chiefs. It's just people are impressed with the domination of the Eagles. But the thing is, the Chiefs aren't going away. if Mahomes is there, they still have a lot of talent, and they look to retool what they have.
Well, they obviously need to work on their offensive line.
Yeah, absolutely. That's number one.
And they have it's kind of a stable of average running backs.
Yep.
Rather than having one, one elite back.
Pacheco was very good, and they broke his leg early in the season. That really derailed him. And Hopkins, he's done. Yeah, I think he's at the end of the line. I think Kelsey may retire. So they've got some good tight. They're going to have to retool. Their defense, I thought, was really good, but wasn't good enough last night. The Eagles
the Eagles look like they could be good for a while too.
Absolutely, they're young. Yeah, they're young. They've got some. They've got some players.
But I think Cooper DeJean out of Iowa, he was their first-round draft pick.
Yeah. Talk about a birthday present. Interception on your birthday, you turn 22. Yeah. And producer extraordinaire is right on it.
He's from, I think, in Iowa or wherever he's from, but he's like a really, really small school.
Yeah. So. He played a great game, and then Nick Sirianni's got ties to this area, Western Pennsylvania, the Ohio Valley. He's a guy that Mount Union. His brother's the head coach at W&J. Zach Bruni, who Coach Bruni at Wheeling picked the Chiefs because he wanted his kids to be happy. He goes, I don't know who's going to win the game, but he went with the Chiefs. But yeah, so we all went down the rabbit hole with the Chiefs, but it's the Eagles that are. And my roommate from Miami. Yeah. He sent me one-word text today. Accurate? ? Basically saying, "I told you," and I just wrote back, "Yes, sir," and I put a little "Fly Eagles Fly" on it.
Well, Thursday night on our and if you haven't checked us out yet, it's News 9 Sports on the Go. It's 7:00 every Thursday across all of your favorite digital platforms: Facebook, YouTube, and WTOV9.com. We must have had 30 people. We had a lot of people send in picks. And we'll have Jordan play this week and see who was the actual closest. But I do think the closest pick on the M&M Hardware picks had to be Scott Campbell.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think anybody else was. No. I mean, he missed by 2 points. He had Eagles got 40 and he predicted 38 and he predicted 26 for the Chiefs. They got 22. And it's pretty hard. That's why it is the Scott Campbell M&M Hardware Lock of the Week.
Well, it's the Lock of the Week, and you know what's the Lock of the Week is that we're going to wrap up the 9-minute Phill-Up right now, and we want to remind everybody that Thursday, make sure you check us out, 7 to 8 o'clock in the evening at Seven Ranges Entertainment in Steubenville at the Steubenville Mall. We're going to go NASCAR. We're going to go Daytona 500. Yeah,
we're going to talk to Jake Seminara from Steubenville.
Yep.
And
who does he work for?
He is a tire changer for Joey Logano and Team Penske.
NASCAR champ. Yeah, NASCAR Cup champ. So Logano, I've mentioned this before. I grew up in Connecticut. He's from Connecticut, so it's kind of cool.
And we're also working on Kevin Gladman, and Kevin Gladman is a mechanic for Chris Buescher. So we're going to try to get both the local NASCAR guys on the show this week. So that is Thursday night. So tell your NASCAR friends, and we've got the game on Fox this coming Sunday.
Yeah, big race.
The big race, Daytona 500.
Super Bowl of racing, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great one. We're looking forward to that.
The Great American Race.
And we're looking forward to having you join us on Thursday night from 7 to 8 on all of our digital platforms, the WTOV9 YouTube channel, Facebook page, and WTOV9.com. And we will talk all things sports. And if you have a comment, send it in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you can comment on here, send it, what have you. Yeah. You didn't touch on one thing. What was the best commercial?
Oh, I'll tell you what. I actually laughed out loud when Seal did the Mountain Dew commercial, and he was the seal on top of the rock. And then my daughter, it was the very next one. My daughter is she loves sloths. So then they went into the slow-mo sloth. I think it was a Coors Light, and it's Monday, and everybody's reacting really slowly. So those two I really like. But the Seal one, when it came out, I literally laughed out loud at that.
I like the pickleball one.
Oh, yeah. Except the thing is, I started to worry, is William Dafoe an alcoholic for Ultra? I mean, it was like they were running around, got to get more Ultra. It was crazy how many Ultra. But that was funny. Yeah, that was a good one.
You didn't, I knew pickleball. I didn't know what the product was.
Yeah, it was Ultra Beer.
Yep.
It was Ultra Beer. Yeah. So I thought they had some pretty good commercials.
Yeah, I thought overall they were good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they had some pretty good commercials. The was it Dodge Ram? The
that
truck
one was good. Yeah.
with the Van Halen background, the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and then the bears. You got to swear to the bear. Absolutely, you got to swear to the bear. Anytime there's bears in there, Don. I like bears. I like bears. We're going to say goodbye?
We're done, Bill.
All right, we're done, everybody. He's the Nacho Man, Don Sloan, special guest on today's edition of the 9-Minute Phill-Up. Got to thank Valley Converting once again for all that they do, and producer extraordinaire Jordan, who's laughing over on the other side of the computers. Until next time, everybody, remember the 2 rules, Don. Remember the 2 rules. Have fun and always try your best. We'll see you next time. That's tomorrow for me and you. Maybe we could talk to Nacho Man to coming by again. Probably not. He's busy.